everyone, so in this video we're going to cover some tips about Illustrator that you might use for your second project or further project. So first, for example, we got a shape here, and we can use the line segment tool to just draw some lines here, right? And we select them all. So we talked about the shape builder tool, right? So actually I'm going to draw another shape just to make them overlapping, right? So we got a composition like this. So for the shape builder tool, so last several class we talked about how it can just highlight each smaller shape in the way how they are overlapping. Yes, and we can color each piece, right? We can pick a color and color each piece. So this is what we learned from last class. But what if we hold on the Option key? So if we hold on the Option key, we can see the plus sign change into a minus sign. So if I hold the Option key, so if you are using the window, you might hold the Alt key, right? Just click on this piece. You can see I'm just deleting this piece. And I hit Option key, I can delete a particular path, right? I don't want this path, I can delete it, So just to review what we did last class: object, repeat, radio, right? Make them overlapping. Object, we expand, and then we go to the pathfinder and exclude. Now we got a composition like this. Then we go into the shape builder tool, right? And we can add color, right? So if we hold on the Option key, it allows us to delete the piece that we don't want, right? Hold on the Option key, delete. Right, you can see we got a minus sign. So this is a tip you can use if you want to delete a particular piece in your composition. Another tip I want to share you about is you can see there are very small, tiny tool down here. So we're going to explore them. The first one means draw at the front. So actually that's just I'm going to select another color and going to select another color. So this time if I draw, so actually it's just the normal thing, right? I draw at the front. So usually if I want to place something at the back, we will going to right click, arrange and send to back, right? So an easier way is if I select the second one, which means draw to the back, draw from behind. So click here, and if now whatever I draw, change the color. So you can see clearly whatever I draw, you can see it's at the back of the previous object, right? You can see everything I draw is at the back. So by selecting this tool, I can directly draw something at the back. So let's talk about what's the third tool for. So for the third tool, for example, I draw a circle and I want to coloring it inside the circle. So I'm going to select the circle and I select the third tool. So for the third tool, I will get a dashed line bounding box here. So right now, if I using the paintbrush tool, I pick a color. You can see whatever I'm drawing inside is just to keep everything inside the circle, right? Nothing will go outside. And I can also draw a shape. I draw another shape. You can see the elements is keep inside the circle, everything is keep inside, right? So this is another really helpful tool you might need to use for your future design. Yeah, so this is the second tip. The third tip we want to talk about is the actually is the symbol sprayer. So I'm going to create another artboard. So for example, I want to draw a star. So I want to place several stars on the sky. Actually, I'm going to give it a darker color so you can see it more clearly. Going to give it a background. Know what's happening here. To delete it. Okay, I think it's because this one. Oh, I see. I have to turn off this one. Yeah. Yes, so we have to turn off this one when we are done. So otherwise, you may not draw anything outside of the bounding box, outside of the circle, right? Yeah, so I'm going to log on the layer 1, add another layer. So I'm going to create some stars with different size. Going to change the color so you can see it clearly. Yes, and I want those stars to be different shapes. Yeah, so we do not, so if I wanted to make this artboard fill with the stars, I do not have to copy paste it hundreds of times. Instead, I can select the stars here, and I go to the symbol. I go to the symbol panel and I drag the elements into the symbol. Just call it star, and I click OK. So now I select this symbol. Then we can go into the symbol sprayer. So what can we do is we select and we keep drawing. We can keep adding as much as we can and we want, right? So we can just keep adding stars here. Yeah, so the next is the symbol shifter, right? So you can just shift the position, right? Shift the position in the way you want. The third is the sizer, right? You can enlarge the size of the star in somewhere. Right? I want here to be larger, so to create some size contrast. And size spanner. Okay, I can also rotate the star, right? Rotating to make them looks more different with each other. Yeah, stainer. Okay, the stainer is just make some of the star whiter, right? Look like lower down the opacity of some of them, create the color contrast. Sample screener. Okay, sample screener is just to make them even, create more color contrast between them. Yeah, so you can try through this list. Yeah, so in this way you don't have to copy and paste multiple times, right? Yeah, so that's the same thing if we want to, when we're using for the cupcake, right? So let's try that again. Yeah, so for example, this is a piece of cupcake. Yes, and we want to put some decorations on it, right? We can something like the candies. Going to change another color. Right, so usually there are some candies on the cupcake, like this. Yes, we can just draw one symbol. Somehow make them rotate a little bit, make them look more natural. Right, we can select them and we go to the symbol and drag them inside. Click OK, and we can use the symbol sprayer. Right. Right, I can get multiple of them by clicking, and we can also adjust the sizing. Right, shifter is just change their place to change how they are displayed, and we can change the size, create some sizing contrast. Right, so the longer you hold your key, the larger the elements would be. Right, the longer you hold. But if you just click once, it just increase a little bit. But if you keep holding it, it become really huge. Okay, you can see this one's huge, but this one, just click once, it just enlarge a little bit. And you can also use the symbol spinner, kind of rotate the elements, right? Yes, and this one just create a color contrast. Yeah, so this is another tool. It's very helpful that you do not need to copy paste every time. Yeah, so let's talk about another tip you're going to use. So in the previous class, we talked about how you can use coloring the scenes with the gradient tool, right? So you can click here to add gradient, right click here to add gradient. So this is the previous method we use. So now we can use another way to do the same, to add gradient. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the mesh tool, right? Mesh tool, and you're going to click on the path, click to add path on both horizontal, add both horizontally and vertically, right? Add some lines, just add some of them. Then we're going to use the lasso tool, right? We're going to select a particular area, like I want to coloring here. Then I'm going to the swatches, I'm going to add the color I want. You can see we got a kind of gradient color of the blue, right? It's not a solid blue. And I can circle this part. This time I can add another color. I want orange. You can see the blue and orange is kind of the transition is kind of smooth, right? They're kind of blending to each other. It's a really smooth transition, right? Another color. This part another color. You're just blending those colors together, right, to create a gradient, interesting gradient. Yeah, so once you need a gradient background, you can also think about how you can use the lasso, right? Use the mesh and the lasso tool to create some gradient with multiple colors blending together. Yeah, so this is another tool we can use. Yes, so the last tip we're going to talk about is this one, right? The object on path. So for example, we have a path here, and I want to add several circles on the path. Okay, I'm going to change it into another color. So I want these shapes to be on the path. So you do not have to do it one by one, right? So that takes time. We want to select them all and then we want to select this one, right? Object on path. Then it's time to you to decide which path you would want them to be on. So we already have the path here, so we click on the path. You can see the 4 circles, they are just come on the path, just stick on the path automatically, right? Then yeah, okay, we can rotate because it's a circle, so it's not showing the rotation, right? Okay, so you can drag this handle to move the circle, right? Move them all, move. Yes, so if you click on the center point, you can only move this particular one, right? You can move them closer. Just decide how you want to move them. How do you want to display them? Yeah, so this is another tip about Illustrator you can try to use in your future design.